How you doing, Aquarius? Let's get right into this with a Celtic cross. Aquarius. Wheel of Fortune. Ooh. Lovers in reverse. Foundation. Celtic cross. Rest of the Celtic cross. Celtic cross. Oopsie. Aquarius. So first card out, Wheel of Fortune. This is a brand new cycle. This is luck. Something brand new is going to happen, a whole new paradigm, whole new cycle of life. Something very dharmic. Karma as well. What crosses you? The Lovers in reverse. You may have had a separation with family members, friends, soulmates, people who at one point were close to you. Karmic soulmates. Lovers in reverse. Possibly an ending towards a karmic soulmate situation. Possibly even a large group. Maybe you've been finding yourself separating yourself from a lot of relationships that have been making you feel stagnant in some way or oppressed in some way. That's interesting. You're putting a lot of endings towards karmic soulmate situations, family members, friends. You're starting a new paradigm, and the way you're starting this is to trying to cut ties with relationships that drain and expect too much out of you, that deplete you. The foundation, the causes of your situation, your emotional, physical needs, plus your subconscious desires is the Five of Swords. So the causes of your situation was people that wasn't working with you. Whatever relationships that you've had, you felt more of like people would lord over you, expect things from you, would never want to compromise with you, always made you feel like you weren't right in some regard. But yet they would always ask for a lot. They would always expect and force their reality onto you. These are people who can be quite gaslighty even, and you feel taken advantage of and manipulated in some way, and you put an end to it, an end to the cycle. And when you no longer want to play the part that they expected you to play or wanted you to play, Now that they're looking at you like you're the bad guy, because you no longer want to play that part. That's an end of the cycle. You know, you don't have to adopt people's opinion of you, because that's not who you are. Because in the end, if we were made up of other people's opinions of us, then we would disappear if those opinions were not there, right? And you know that. The past judgment, you made a decision, a final judgment. This could have been a court case, possibly, and a final decision was made. Maybe the decision to cut off these situations that took too much from you was due to a conscious decision that you made, and this actually started a new paradigm for you. It made you able to reach out, Page of Wands, to look what is ahead of you, to be hopeful, to move forward. Because you had to break away because the people who were around you were high conflict, were manipulative, could have been gaslighting you, could have constantly wanted a fight, argument, belittling even in some way. Your goals, your subconscious desires, the best that can be accomplished at present is the King of Wands. This is you, the king of your realm. You could have Aries within your chart, Aquarius, or this is you just getting that fire pack, that passion, that drive, that controlled fire. You could have a lot of fire and air element within your sign. But when you use that air to fan the flames of fire, it could be combustible. And maybe in some ways they use that fire, like that combustible fire, against you. Would pick you into fights, and because they knew what bone to pick to start things. People who like to play with your emotions in some way. And that's why you had to end it, because your emotions are yours. No one should have the power to change the way you feel about things or the way you feel about yourself, and still have a big piece of your life. Now you're moving forward. Scouting out into the beyond. And you're going towards something new. Something that you feel like is definitely life path related. It feels like your calling, your destiny. Maybe a career situation that you didn't feel that you had enough self-confidence to pursue in the past, but now that you have seen things the way that they are, and you stopped being a party to negativity, and they're implementing their rigid false beliefs and rigid ideologies and dogma and ideas of who you are, that you felt like you lost the confidence to be able to pursue that. And now that you've cleared the clutter a bit, you feel ready to start your journey, because the journey to healing and self-discovery is usually that path started alone, because you're breaking yourself out of the herd, this herd dynamic and this control factor, in order to take a path less traveled that's totally meant for you. And it was hearing the call into the wilds and into the deserts to seek yourself and your relation to the divine. And you do that by following your north path, your north node, your Rahu, your path in life. How you see yourself, 9 of Cups. You are saving all of that emotional energy to yourself now. This is no longer having any F's to give, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were giving out so much and they use that kindness and your sociability and your love of humanity and the people around you against you. And now you're pulling your energy back, and when you did, they feel it. 5 of Swords. Caused arguments, caused fights. These are people who have control issues. People who needed to feel important by controlling you, because if they weren't putting other people down, they would feel their own unimportance. Because how do you elevate yourself if you don't have the self-confidence to give that to yourself? Then putting other people down around you and feeling like you have to lord over them, and this does not make a good life, and I feel that you have lived this life before. Your environment, 9 of Wands in reverse. Now they don't want to be defensive anymore. Possibly, you know, they used to play the victim a lot, make you feel guilty, be defensive with you, and always make you feel like you're wrong. So they feel justified into treating you a certain way. But now they're coming, oh, I don't want to fight with you, you know. Hey, we're friends. Let's talk and get along. There's no issue, but there is an issue. And it wasn't an issue before when you stayed and participated. It's an issue now that you refuse not to. Your hopes and your fears of attaining the goal. The lesson to be learned, blocking your development. 3 of Pentacles in reverse. You feel like you're misguided by a lot of people in a lot of ways, and especially the ways that should have guided you. You feel like a lot of the people that you had in your life were uncooperative and didn't really want to work with you. And now, instead of accepting that paradigm, you decide to return the same type of energy that they were giving you, which does not work with them. Although, in some ways, you fear not having that support, but in the end, it was mainly the idea of support than it was actual support. You know, the outcome, what you'll gain from this experience, the reward, the quality or a tool that will help you achieve a breakthrough. The Empress in reverse. Now, with the Aquarius, you are considered the humanitarian. You know, you're very smart. And you can have a lot of empathetic skills and empathy, even though people would think that you're more cold. I don't believe that. I mean, it's just that sometimes you have to figure out what that is, and it takes you time to realize that, like air. It doesn't really have much of a rhyme or reason as to which direction the wind blows. And it teaches you not to nourish energies, relationships, people, places, and things that do not work with you. It teaches you how to take back that energy and emotional energy and assistance and help and nurturing and the empathy itself, and no longer nourish the things that deplete you. Now, Aquarius, if this is in terms of a relationship, a love relationship, this could be a divorce, a change of the household, with someone with Virgo or Taurus within their chart. Actually Virgo, but you have a lot here: Gemini, Virgo, Aries, Libra, someone could have their Jupiter in Gemini. If this is in terms of a family unit, I feel like you're moving forward after this end of a relationship. It could have been an end of a relationship, marriage, or a long-term relationship, or away from even a family unit, possibly with someone, a Virgo, or possibly even a mother who wasn't all that much of a mother. The Empress in reverse is someone who can be selfish and self-serving. It can be someone who's quite cruel, callous, doesn't nurture their young or care for others around them, who's superficial. Now, this could be a wife or a mother and you're no longer working with this person because they're selfish, and now you're taking your power back. And you feel free. Maybe on top of feeling free, you do feel a bit of a sadness that it's kind of like a grieving of what you feel like should have been offered freely to you. And the things that you really wanted was love and support. And perhaps it affected your self-confidence in a lot of ways, and you grieve for not being able to have that within your lifetime. But regardless of who they are to you or the title that they have within your life, it doesn't give them the right to take without reciprocating or manipulating others or manipulating you for their gain and to feed their own ego. High Priestess. Aqua. I see you could have Aqua, air. You could be a Pisces, Aries cusp, or Aries with Aqua. Have Virgo, but there is a non-communication between you and the Empress in reverse. Or someone with that archetype, you're no longer nurturing something, or vice versa. There's no communication, and you are saving your own thoughts and things that could be held against you, and in the past that were held against you when you were giving information to someone who used to use that in order to hurt you, when all you really wanted was somebody to support you and confide in. But I could see how that's painful. And I've had a similar situation, and even going through the similar cycle. But just know, in life, nothing happens by accident. And only the divine knows the true intricate details of what happens in the whole span of the universe. And we could only see it in a minute scale. Like, although this was a tragedy, it was needed in order to learn lessons, into awakening into the things that are and the things that have been, and no longer closing your eyes to people, places, and things that hurt you and oppress you. And even when it comes to self-limiting beliefs that were implanted in your head, and also the relationships who are dedicated to misunderstanding you and keeping you in a position below you. It taught you how to say no, and this is a soul growth, and it's a soul lesson. And it's also that it's painful, that it comes from the nearest and dearest in your life. But sometimes the most painful lessons are the ones that were the most valuable, and the things that set you onto a path of awakening and understanding the world as what it is truly, beyond your sense of perception. Three more. Advice. These are people who raised you. These are family dynamics who not only wounded you, but kept that wound open in order to keep you in a certain state of being, which is something that they can use as supplies for the foundations of their own homes. And you found yourself depleted and feeling stuck. you had a message from the divine that helped you awaken to the truth of these dynamics, these family dynamics. And it was a certain kind of foundation that was built in order to accept the names that you were given to people who never really saw you in the first place. These dynamics, you knew that was not for you. These false beliefs. And now that you are able to walk away from that and realize that that is actually leads you to a road to heal and to mend and to know that maybe this wasn't personal, even though it felt deeply personal, that these were dynamics that were built within family lines that were passed on to each generation. And you were able to open your eyes to be more aware of that. And this awakening led to your own healing. And you know that it's actually your right path because you feel much more balanced. You don't feel as anxious. You don't feel as worried or hopeless when you are working towards something that actually has deeper meaning for you. And you do that, you heal yourself by healing the others around you and knowing the difference between those that are actually wanting to heal themselves and support you as much as you support them, or at least be grateful for the gifts of perception that you bestow, and who not to. Because these are the way that they were taught. And perhaps it could hope you take this a little less personally, because they really were never taught any other way to connect with another person. But you definitely can, and you definitely see it, and you're just definitely trying to find a new path, and it's the path that's less traveled. You're overworked, something you don't know, feeling overly anxious, trying to get everything done at once, trying to do everything by the book, and you're trying to build something, but you can't build solid foundations with shaky relationships. And once you start building things that is actually meant for you, you'll see a lot of the blockages that kept you from going in the direction that could actually be amazingly emotionally fulfilling, because it's something that brings you deeper into the path that you were meant to be led to and your own healing. 52 plus 7 could be a life path 7 of Pisces within your chart. This is a path to spirituality, path to connecting with the divine and seeing things in a new perspective. That things had to work out this way. It was divinely planned and ordained within each of us that we were born just like our parents before them were born and meant to be raised that way in order for us to become what we are. Because the road less traveled is never an easier path, but it is the most rewarding. I'm sure that makes all the difference, hearing the road less traveled in my head. But this is going to be amazing because you're going to see what you're capable of. And I know you already feel it. The moment you get these people that were forcing their reality on you. And when the doors of that perception is cleansed, you'll see existence the way it really is. It's infinite. But that's what I have for you, Aquarius. Much love and light and healing. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe if this resonates, and feel free to donate in the box below if you feel moved to do so. Sometimes I leave extra notes at the end if I channel anything extra. But much love and light to you. Bye.